Marcus and Trecya had an all-star team of vendors. Truly all-star. And some of them were our recommendations, some of them were people that they knew, very good friends with. They had Iris Mannings doing the photography, absolutely beautiful. We were actually just talking about it. I saw more of the pictures this week. Amazing. Their officiant was a friend of mine. Her name is Roxanne. She goes by Married by Rev Roxy. She is a bit of a firecracker that loves Jesus, and she is awesome. I could tell, like, just over time that they were just getting to know her really well, and absolutely loved the, the counseling part of it. What would you say, like, when you were looking for vendors?
A vendor? He didn't really pick any of the vendors other than Chapala's and the MC. And the videographer.
Which were all good choices.
I can't say I didn't pick any of these.
No, which were all good choices. They were all very good choices.
And they were, I think one of the things, especially for me, that I looked for was, I know what's important to me, like, when I met them for like the first time and I did like my, interview, their personalities and how they interacted with me. And my mom is very like, whatever. And she was with me for most of the meetings because he was at work. And I only work 3 days a week. But when I interviewed my vendors, like, I just wanted to make sure that they were a good fit for me and what I wanted to see for the wedding. And especially for Marcus too, because he wasn't there. I know what he would like, and people who have like positive energy when you meet them and they have your best interest at heart is something that's really important. So talk to people. If you don't like them, then don't hire them, obviously.
That's the big thing. You have to like the person, not just at work.
Like I liked, for Faye, I really loved the fact that she had many multicultural weddings under her belt, but I also loved her personality and her. Like, she likes Jesus, we like Jesus. We have things in common. Even with Reverend Roxy, doing marriage counseling with her and her husband, it's the little things, and you have to get to know people and be willing to get to know them because they're gonna be with you for a year plus. So that's good work.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
No, I mean, the biggest thing is not only liking their work, it's really just them, because you're working with this person and you have to be in communication with them for the entire time period. I mean, we're hiring people months before the actual day. So it's not like you're just going to see that person and talk to that person for the first time that day. We're in communication for months and months and months, and if there's just no chemistry, then it's just not going to work.
Yeah, that's a good one. My mother is like, when it comes to like new people,
I don't see that side.
My mom loves him, obviously, but it's weird. Like, when my mom is like, when it's business, she is like, no nonsense, like, what we doing here? And then I have to like convince her, like, okay, I have a full-time job and you have all your other stuff going on. We can't do this by ourselves. It's too much. I was getting overwhelmed. And I was like, we need help.
Yeah.
And after the meeting, and I talked to her about it, and then she was like, oh, okay. And then she's like, now she loves Faye. She loves Faye.
We were talking about this earlier. This was my first time actually hearing. Mind you, we hired you, when was it?
It was about over a year ago. Yeah.
Over a year ago. This is my first time hearing that her mother had pushback. I had no idea, because we were saying earlier that
very much so.
She compared moms. I know how like parents are, like, they're harder on their kids, but then their kids' friends or significant other don't really see that because they change so quick or whatever. That's how my mom is. By her, she's nicer to her than she's with us. But I will say she seems a little more modern when it comes to things like that compared to my mom. So I just assumed that she was with it. I never knew that it was pushed back.
No, at first she was like, I'm not sure about this. And I was like, okay, Mom.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Let me answer your questions.
Because my mom was saying the same thing. Why you need a wedding plan? Just do it. When I got married, I did it myself.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's 2019.
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm tired.
1996 when you got married.
Right. And that's my whole thing. I'm like, people, you need help. Like when you need help, you need help. You need to admit that you need help and relinquish that help to somebody else who knows the ins and outs of this whole wedding planning situation.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And like when you, in hindsight, it's like if you putting everything together. And people be coming to me asking me questions, and I get frustrated. My phone is ringing all of the time.
Oh, people want to make you their wedding planner.
I don't ask me. Don't ask me. I don't know. Get a wedding. And that, honestly, I know 2 people that are getting married that I work with, and I said, I got a wedding planner because I know myself, and it was difficult to bring everything together by yourself.
Yeah.
And they didn't take my advice, but that's I don't really care.
Yeah.
At the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also depends on the scale of the wedding, because we both have big family, like a big family. So if her coworkers are just having a little get together, I understand why they wouldn't have one, but she has a step parent, I have a step parent, so it's like double the size.
Yeah.
So.
This wedding, we still were pretty intentional about trying to have both cultures, showcased through the wedding. So that was a very interesting process, especially through the food and the music. And I was very excited about the menu the whole time. I was like, let's get to dinner, I need to eat. It was it was really good.
The food was like, to this day, everyone's talking about the food.
Yeah, we had a blended menu. We had a few Caribbean items. We had jerk chicken. We had, what else did we have?
I was gonna say plantain, but that's like
both.
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
We had macaroni pie, and then appetizer we had the akra, which is like a fish cake.
Yeah, that was good.
And then we had the mini beef pies. Yeah, that was it.
For Trinity food?
Yeah.
And then so I didn't really eat much of it. I'm going off of memory from what we ordered.
Yeah.
So I know like the hors d'oeuvres were pupusas, which is tortilla with meat and cheese inside. And then what was it?
There was some yuca.
Then yuca fries. Did we do taquitos? No, right? I don't think so.
I don't remember.
No.
And then I think that our entree was carne asada, right?
Yeah,
so the entree was carne asada.
Which is really good.
Which is just a form of steak.
We went to Chapala's one night just to have dinner. And that was our tasting because the Salvadorian food came from Chapala. I remember I ate that steak and I was like, oh, this is a good steak.
Yeah.
That was like the thing that I wanted, because their steak is good. Some restaurants you go and the steak is a little iffy, but theirs is consistently good.
Yeah, and then we got the Trinity food, the Caribbean food from Caribbean Caterers, which is a caterer that I work with a lot, and they did the overall service of the day, setting up the tables and everything as well. So it was awesome. Okay.
I think so.
Let me know when I can start.
Yeah, start with
Oh, it's rolling? Okay.
It usually rolls before.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're always trying to say, I'm from where you're from.
Downtown.
What does that mean? Where is downtown Trinidad?
Nowhere.
Nowhere. No.
It's by the airport.
By the airport. That is not even downtown. Please.
No.
And I remember the weekend where I saw on Instagram stories that Marcus proposed, and it was like the cutest thing. Everything was on the West Coast.
I hired her before we got engaged.
You didn't know?
No, I had no idea. I had no idea.
This is the best YouTube
So,
video
okay,
ever.
so when I proposed,
I swore you knew. I swore you knew.
no,
Oh, you knew.
That's why you weren't at any of the first meetings.
no, I had no idea.
I bought the dress before we got officially engaged,
So-
and I hired.
So she was
I think I hired Iris.
Did you say something? Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
I had no idea. No, I had no idea. I had no idea.
I didn't know that.
I think you were talking about dresses.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you kept telling me we were looking at dresses, but to me that meant nothing. I'm like, okay.
I feel like we talked about this. And
We
you
talked
don't
about it, but you
remember.
never told me that you hired Faye at that time. I had no idea. Okay,
Maybe I
anyways.
didn't.
Whatever.
Whatever.
It's like
Next
this.
question.